The ladies of Rewatch and Wine. So happy to have you join us. I'm Rhea.
Treva.
And Lynn.
And we are here today to bring to you our book to movie adaptation of Shrek.
So, who is picking these kids' books again? Is this Rhea?
It was a combination of the two. I was on Netflix and I saw that it was under the books or movies based on books like category. And I was like, oh, Shrek is a book. And then I messaged the group and Rhea immediately co-signed and was like, yep, we're doing it. So I poked the bear and I abused enabler.
I don't know that you did respond. You didn't.
I think I was silent.
I think you got overruled in this one.
Right. I actually feel like I'm going to be overruled a lot when it comes to this stuff.
Well,
because I don't have any interest in the kids' books, but whatever.
Well, before we get into the actual book, today we are drinking Dripio Rosé.
What?
It is a
Drop?
rosé wine.
Drop? Is it Dropo?
Dry Pio?
Okay.
I don't know.
I thought it was like Drop. Like
wait, spell it. Let me see it. Move your fingers.
Driopi.
Okay. It's a rosé, huh?
Yes. It is from New York. It does contain sulfates, though. Not that I care, but yeah, I'm still gonna drink it. Anyways, I prefer dry rosés. Even in like the heat, I don't know why. If it's not a sparkling rosé, I like a dry rosé. So I am a fan, as you can see.
Okay.
All right.
Y'all ready to talk about this book?
Yes.
Shrek is written by William Steig or Steig. I'm not sure on the pronunciation. Wow. And the book came out in 1990.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, short story. He wrote a whole bunch of different ones, but Shrek was one of them.
So. You mean to tell me this was a 1990 book?
Yeah.
Because it seemed like one of those 1950s, 1960s.
Yeah, that's why I had to look it up because I was like, wait, I feel like this is like one of those, Inside Man type books where like, that it was actually made with like real like wood and they would get like termites type thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
But what's funny is even like the cover looks kind of old.
Yeah, it says that the fantasy comedy picture book was published in 1990.
Yeah.
Wow.
October 17th, 1990 to be exact. And he was the illustrator, William Steig, and it was adapted in 2001.
That's incredible. So that book was so disturbing. And
so,
similar
I totally felt the same way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I was just like, oh my God, this is so disturbing. But then I had a flashback of when we read like Little Mermaid and stuff. And I was like, you know what? Even to be 2000 or 1990, it goes along the lines of these.
Well, it's
books that are like horrific that they make into these movies. And like, it's all great for kids, but the book is like, at 14, I'm going to like die for the love of my life and drown because I can't be a mermaid anymore. Like, it's just.
Exactly. That's why I thought it was like some old Hans Christian Andersen thing. And I was like,
yes.
See, when you just said 1990, I was like, wait, what? Now I really don't understand the storyline because it's too modern for it to be crazy like that. Unless this guy was inspired by all these old school fairy tales. But yeah, it was disturbing to me. But let me just tell you something. When that book started off, this said Shrek's mama was ugly, Shrek's daddy was ugly, and Shrek was even an uglier mix of the two. I
was like, dang, you going for it.
I felt like I was listening to Bernie Mac.
Right. And you the uglier mix of the two of them is all I heard.
Oh,
right?
It is ugly.
I was like, that is so crazy. And then everybody that was trying to like attack him was attacking him because he was like the cloud and the thunder was like, he's so ugly. I'm going to throw some lightning at him.
The listeners, we listened to this one on Audible. It was narrated by Stanley Tucci and the Meryl Streep.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I know it's Stanley Tucci, but I love his voice anyway. And that's one of the reasons why I listened to it like via on Audible versus like actually getting the book to read it. But hearing him and how he narrated that book when he was like, Shrek's mom was ugly and Shrek's dad was ugly and made an even uglier kid. I was like, oh, no, he was so angry. And then,
oh my gosh.
Basically, his parents kicked him out because they were tired of seeing his ugly face and was like, go be an ogre somewhere else because we don't want you here. I was like, how is this a kid's movie? Well, book, it's a movie, but yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then on his journey, we ended up with the place with all the mirrors. And he was just terrified because all of these ugly looking monsters that were all
coming at him.
Were coming at him, but it was actually just him. I was like, okay, yeah, this ain't really going to help nobody's self-esteem.
Poor thing. But then he embraced it. It's me.
It was just crazy. And then the love poetry between the ugly princesses and him. Your warts on your face really thrill me.
The rhyming, I'm like, enough.
Oh my gosh. This thing had me cracking up so bad. I was like, this is crazy.
It was cute though.
I really agree. I was just like, because I didn't even know it was a book, obviously. And I saw the movie back in 2001. And when I heard it was a book, I'm like, okay, cool, we'll check it out. Thinking that it was going to be more along the lines of the movie. And as I'm listening, I'm just like, how did they make one into the other? And I had the same flashback of Hans Christian Andersen, like books the same way. And my whole thought was just like, I mean, Shrek is literally a victim
of bullying and abuse. Like a victim of ugly discrimination.
Yes. He just wanted to just be alone and love, not even love, just be alone.
Right.
And the world was just coming for him.
Yeah, it was too funny. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was funny. It was cute. But creative minds.
Yes.
To turn that into what Shrek has become is crazy.
So I guess we can jump into the adaptation because I fully agree. How did you go take these little morsels of literally self-hate to this giant franchise with, there's Shrek Ever After, there's Shrek Forever and ×3, and then the continuation of the series from that little short negative-minded book. Okay.
Yeah, I guess the moral of the story that there's someone for everyone, kind of.
Literally.
You know, or that beauty is from within. Like those morals, I guess you could pull out from both.
Yes.
You'd find love. But yeah, I don't know how that Disney franchise, is that Disney or Pixar? I don't know who it is, but I guess they're all over.
It's so good. It was just so good.
I don't know how that grew out of that story. I just don't.
Oh, it's so good.
I remember going to see this movie. It came out when I was in high school and I was dating this guy this time. Not really dating him, we were kind of just like friends and hanging out, but he had 2 younger siblings. And we were like, okay, so we don't want to look like the losers to go see this movie. It's a kid's movie. So we literally forced his little brother and sister to go see this movie with us. And they didn't want to see it at all. They were just like, no, I'm good. We were like, you gotta go so we can go. So after we went to see it again and we were like, okay, so we're not going to take you guys technically again to see the movie. You guys can go to a different movie theater and then we sit here. We should not have let a 7-year-old probably go by themselves, but I was 14. I wasn't quite thinking wisely, but I saw this movie in the movie theater 3 times because I enjoyed it that much.
Wow.
Now that it's an adaptation, in my mind, it's very different, but I just remember laughing so hard, one of those deep belly laughs that the smallest thing was just hilarious to me.
Oh yeah, no, Eddie Murphy as Donkey in that movie just nailed it. I loved all the characters, but Donkey was my absolute favorite. I remember loving his role in this movie.
Yeah.
The one-liners that the donkey had is just so funny. Ogres are like onions. They have layers. You know what I love outer layers? Parfaits. And things like that just made me laugh so hard as even to this day as a grown ass woman, but as a kid too. It's just, I don't think that whoever did the casting for this was a genius. They brought together so many original people to come together to make this family, obviously, but like they all had the chemistry beyond reason.
They did. I mean, Michael Myers is a genius as Shrek.
Oh, yes.
But even like the later versions, like Shrek 2, 3, as they added more characters, I mean, to put Antonio Banderas as that
Puss in Boots,
like every single person that they brought in to voice over these characters
was great.
They nailed it.
Yep.
Well,
everybody.
So, as it comes to like the actual adaptation, it, I guess, technically like follows along the story where he's a cast out like ugly ogre, and then he goes on a quest. The quest really in the adaptation is a little bit different, but goes on a quest, ends up falling in love with a other ogre who is just as ugly. Story ended. Yes, because of like the blueprints of the story, it kind of follows the adaptation, but the way that they filled in the gaps for the adaptation, I loved.
Yeah. I mean, they made it a watchable movie. Like there's no way that we could have enjoyed the Shrek the book.
Yeah, it would have flopped.
Yeah, it would never have been.
It just animation is my thing. I freaking love cartoons. I live for cartoons, and I just every time I see something like this, especially after reading a book that it started from, I'm just like, wow. Like, I wish I was that creative.
Right.
Honestly, I think you are. You just have to like hone it into like one detail. Us, as I know how we're family, we got like 18 like slides going on in our head at the same time.
Yeah.
The creativity's there. We have to go one slide at a time.
Right.
Yeah.
We got to hone it in. We do tend to be all over the place.
Hence why this podcast came into birth.
Right.
That's true.
All right.
Thank you, Trina.
Anything else about the movie or the adaptation? I'm remembering that Cameron Diaz was Princess Fiona in the movies, and she retired from acting.
Yeah.
She was actually one of my favorite actors or actresses. So I was disappointed that she's decided to bow out. But anyway, that was just.
I mean, with the Shrek franchise, she didn't have to really do much.
I think that and the Charlie's Angels. Also,
they need another one. Though.
Well, that and The Mask, because The Mask was her first movie after she did acting. I mean, modeling. Excuse me.
Yeah, but I would love another Shrek. I just don't know. Sometimes that stuff falls short, and I need them to put some time into the comedy so that.
I think that the key is they can, because they had so many babies. Now we can start with the babies. I don't have a problem being a baby Shrek.
Yep.
Right. Yeah, but you can't have Shrek without Donkey, so you still got to have the mama and the papa.
Donkey?
You got to have Donkey. But we can have somebody else be Fiona. Or Fiona dies.
Or maybe she'll come back for Shrek.
I feel like as much effort as Cameron Diaz has put into like her Fiona like character throughout like decades, she'd come back. Yeah, I mean, it's been 23 years that like this franchise has been being built. Like, she'll come back.
But how old was the most recent one? Like how old was that one?
That I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, we'd have to Google that.
I mean, Lynn, come on, you're supposed to know this information.
I know, usually I do.
The last one was Shrek Forever After. So
there was Shrek in 2001, Shrek 2 in 2004, Shrek the Third in 2007, Shrek the Halls in 2007, Shrek Forever After in 2010, and then it says there's a Shrek 5, but it isn't seen.
No. Shrek 5 is
it's rumored.
But Shrek 5 listed is not. It's like the
AI.
Yes, it's like Lion King.
Oh,
and it actually has a face, and it's not a real face. And no.
Well, it says that it's rumored to be released in 2025. So if it really will be, it'd be like more of like a live action. And I think that they should have stopped in 2010 if that's what they're going to do.
It's real people's faces. Like they try to do that stupid, yeah, no, okay. I can't talk bad about
that's
it.
disappointing. Oh, well, let's just stick with Shrek 2, third, and 4 after.
And all of the, I guess, spin-offs like Puss in Boots and all those too.
Yeah, that's true.
Got to remember those too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right, y'all ready to rate this adaptation? This is a hard one because it's really not the book.
It's not the book. The book
but
is
I love
depressing.
Shrek the movie. So the adaptation gets like a half glass because it's not the book. I don't know what else to say about it. The book was disturbing.
I'm going to give it a long day at work because it's not the book, but I think that if you're going to make a kid's book into a movie, like you have to make it uplifting in some way. And you can't constantly bash this character talking about his mama ugly, his daddy ugly, he gonna be ugly forever, he gonna marry an ugly wife. Like you can't really go into those details. So I think they did the best like they could I guess comedically, like when Donkey runs into Shrek and was like, ugh, like those type of things. I think they did a good job making it as close to the book as they could have gone. So long day of work for Lynn.
I'll give it a long day's work because it started with him actually going to the donkey. The donkey did help him. It ended with him and his princess. And they did kind of beat up on him a little bit because everybody who saw him throughout the movie was like, ugh.
Yeah, Lord Farquhar was
especially little man.
Lord Farquhar, he was like, he's hideous. Kill him. Like, whoa.
Bobblehead.
He was just here trying to check on his property and like just make sure we had like no poachers. And all of a sudden, talk about kill him because he's ugly. That was pretty harsh.
Which is pretty funny coming from the 2-foot tall bobblehead. I just don't,
It's Napoleon syndrome.
Yeah. No, it gets a long day work for me too, but yeah.
All right. Well, that's another review by Rewatch One. And this was our children's version. So if you have not read Shrek the book, I know you've seen Shrek the movie and probably 2 or 3 of them. They had part 2s and 3s and 4s. But you've not read the book, I'm sure. So read the book. It's a very quick read. You will finish it in 5 minutes. But
open that conversation with your kids. Like get the book, like read the book, and then sit down for movie nights. Watch it with your kids and talk about it, and let us know.
So just as a side note before we cut off, I actually listened to it on Audible. Me and Nevi listened to it together, and he literally was like, "Wait, that ain't even the storyline. That ain't how the storyline goes." So then I had to retrain him on what we're doing here with our podcast, and I had to re-explain to him how most adaptations are not 100% like the book, hence why we started this whole podcast. But he was just like, "Oh, that ain't nothing like the story." So he didn't like it. He did not like it at all. But what I would love to task somebody with doing is actually getting that book, reading it like really, really fast, because all that daggone rhyming will sound like if you try to read through it very quickly.
Right. You could rap a song.
Right.
All right.
Follow us.
Let us know feedback. Bye.
Bye. Follow us on everything. Thank you.
Drink some wine.